Hi everybody, Kirsten here, and it has been a long time since my last video, and I'm so sorry. Things have just been so busy around here. But today I have a book talk, and I'm going to be talking about The Queen of the Tearling by Erika Johansen. I haven't been seeing a lot of buzz about this book, and there should be a ton of buzz about this book because this book is absolutely amazing, and I absolutely adored it and loved it, and I am so sad that it is the first book in a series. There's no tentative release date or even a blurb or anything about the second book anywhere, so just keep that in mind when you go to read this book. So if you don't know what The Queen of the Tearling is about, I'm just going to give you a general synopsis real quick. The Queen of the Tearling is about a young woman named Kelsey Rayleigh Glynn, and she is the heir of the Tearling throne. Her mother Alyssa died when she was a baby, and so she got sent to live with her foster parents Carlin and Barty in the woods and hiding because all these people want her dead. It's really sad, actually. Like, the whole story of her youth is so sad because she has no idea who she is. She doesn't really know what's going on, and no one can tell her anything about her mother's reign or anything about being queen because they were sworn to secrecy to protect her. Throughout the entire book, there's a theme of no one telling her anything about what's going on ever, so she's just kind of clueless going into this. And in the beginning of the book, the Queen's Guard come to take her from the cottage because she is now 19 and of age to take the throne. And she has a burn mark on her arm and the heir jewel, which is a giant sapphire. And those are the things to prove that she is who she says she is. So they go on this journey to get to the keep in Tearling, and a lot of stuff happens. I feel like I can't really talk about all the stuff that happens because I do want to keep this a spoiler-free video for everybody, but there's a lot of stuff that happens. Just like in any fantasy novel, there is so much detail, there's so much description, and so many things happen in such a short amount of time, and it's so good. First book follows how she has become the Queen of Tearling. It's her journey, and there are many different narrative points of view in this book. They all kind of bounce all over the place, but the main narrative is hers. You see how all of these people are trying to be a part of this queen and try to get to her, try to kill her, all of these plans that happen, and you slowly start to see the way this world was evolved and how it is the way it is. And I was actually very surprised because there isn't that much world building. For a fantasy novel, there isn't that much world building. I mean, there's a lot of world building for their current world. Like, you learn a lot about the Tear and Mort Mesney and all of the surrounding lands. You learn about the people that live in this place and all of that. But there's a lot of random mentions that actually don't seem important. They do mention America and London and a crossing. The crossing is what made this land. There are times that are mentioned to our age with the golden age of medicine, to abortion, birth control, all of that, the technology, gunpowder, all of those things are not present in this land, but they are present once in time. It's kind of interesting, but she never really explains in depth about what happened at the crossing, what life was like pre-crossing. They just kind of hint at it. So I'm really looking forward to see how that all comes together in the next book, and hopefully that world building will continue. It just seemed very on the back burner, but needed to be talked about. Kind of like a lot of the things in this story. I loved this book, don't get me wrong. I rated it 5 stars on Goodreads. I absolutely love it. Kelsey is such a badass, and I love her. And I love her relationship with Mace, who is the head of the Queen's Guard, and also her personal bodyguard, Penn. I loved the Fetch. The Fetch is a great character. He reminds me of a combination of Nikolai and the Darkling from the Grisha trilogy. He is sassy and hilarious and a force to be reckoned with. And I really loved him. But really, I fell in love with Kelsey, and there's no romance in this story. There is an underlying, she's attracted to people, but there is no romance in this story, and it just makes it so great. Oh my gosh, I just love the fact that she's a queen and she's getting shit done, and there's no one there to distract her from those things. The Red Queen in Mort Mesney, she is nuts and magical, and there is a lot of magic in this story. I definitely recommend this book. It's so great, and it really does skirt that fine line between YA and adult fantasy. So if you love YA fantasy and you love adult fantasy, there's something for everybody in this book. The main character, Kelsey, is 19, and it is her coming of age, becoming a queen, and it does have a lot of YA themes in it. But it's still an adult novel, so I think everybody would get a kick out of this book. I think more people need to read it. Go get it. It's so worth it. It's so good and it's so beautiful. It's such a beautiful book. I wish I didn't put all these tabs in it so you could see how like the pages are all cool, and there's like a little bookmark ribbon, and it's such a pretty book. Oh my god, it's so beautiful. Okay, but that is the book talk for this week. Everybody have a great week, and I will see you next time.